Now, I'm so glad that you guys are already smashing that like button. I know you guys are already crying tears of joy of this magical day when it happens. Toxapex being banned. And I say when it happens because maybe it does need to happen. Anyway, it's your boy NJNP. I'm here with Gary, and we're here to discuss what OU would be like without Toxapex. It was the most requested video that we do out of the comments. Now, don't worry, we will at least I know he's trying to get out of here. Gary trying to escape. So I can't guarantee that I'll be able to drag him here for more videos, but you know, he's nice enough to join me for this video. And I mean, Gary, you know, Gary's been a big fan of this. He wants this mon gone. He wants it to say goodbye. And yeah, this, guys, if you guys aren't already picked up on this and you haven't read the title and you clicked this video blindly, we are here to discuss what would OU be like without Toxapex. And honestly, I think it would be crazy. I think the tier would maybe take a turn in the right direction. I think it'd be good, but and I do think it would be interesting. Honestly, I felt like the only issue though, if we did have a Toxapex suspect, I think a lot of people would just vote ban because they hate it, not because it's not broken, just because they're so sick of facing it, and the hate and the venom for this mon would just end up, you know, it would just end up being banned. I felt like that was similar to Mega Sableye, because Mega Sableye, I still feel like that was a really bad ban, that was a mistake, and people just hated it so much, and they hated what it did to the metagame and hate facing it, not because it wasn't broken. No, they were just like, all right, this gotta go. But Toxapex is different from Sableye. Toxapex is water poison. It has regen. It's able to set up Toxapex consistently. It got knockoff in Ultra Sun and Moon. It can scald, burn you. It can haze off any setup that you try to attempt. The mon is simply a pain in the ass. And yeah, Gary, what is your opinion on Toxapex?
I think it's just uncompetitive. Like, I know a lot of people would disagree with me because I've had discussion with, when I was in the council for like fucking 2 weeks. I know originally it was brought up before Ultra Sun Moon, a potential PEX suspect, but it was kind of shot down. And well, I mean, I wasn't a part of it, but when I looked back in the logs, yeah, that's what I saw. And basically, like, I just think a mon that can so easily just, I've always thought regen in general is a really dumb ability. Like, Alomomola, Tangrowth is like the least broken regen mon. Because regen, I mean, because Tangrowth's like, it's a pure grass and like, you know, blah, blah, but like, something with like a good defensive typing and regenerator, like Alomomola, which is pure water, and Toxapex, which is obviously water poison, is just fucking retarded. Because it's basically able to pivot into almost any attack, bar like Specs Coco, like Earthplate, Lando, like really, really strong attackers, and it can pretty much just pivot and like scout. Like, it doesn't even, like, you don't even need to really like play safe with it ever. Like, yeah. It's such a blindly, like, you know, I might as well just switch in Toxapex. I might as well just throw in Toxapex. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's so easy to just throw it into.
It also invalidates. It like invalidates mons like Charizard Y. It validates mons like, you know, Keldeo.
It has
Tangrowth,
so many
Scissor.
forms. It has so many forms of recovery. It's basically almost. It is literally impossible to break it unless you have something designed to break it. Like, you can't kill it. You can't stall out.
And before you scream, oh, then you shouldn't have banned Dugtrio, then that could have removed it. Well, or you shouldn't have banned Golf. Here's the thing. Toxapex is a mon that does, as we saw when Dugtrio was in the metagame, it is a mon that does not need its excuse me, I don't want to say it doesn't need its recovery. It doesn't need its item recovery, basically. It doesn't need its Black Sledge, okay, to be effective. And this mon was thriving in those metagames. It would just throw on a Jet Shell and, you know, skirt off when you try to trap it.
And even if Dougie did trap Toxapex, it still was uncompetitive, so that's why we banned it. And I think PEX is similar in the same vein, that it's able to blanket check like 70% of the tier. It can just be slapped onto a team without any regards of, see, people are gonna probably talk about Lando, like, oh, Lando, you just slap on a team. Well, like, Lando can still be punished. Like, Pex is not easy to punish.
Yeah, Lando doesn't have reliable recovery.
Yeah, the only way to punish Pex is like Z moves, which again, you have to use your Z move to punish it, pretty much. Like and that's the only way to break it. Like you can't just lure it simply. Like one does not simply lure Toxapex, because stuff like Volcarona with Psychium Z, it can't just use it on the switch because Pex will just switch out. Like, oh shit, it just used Psychic. Well, time to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, like I mean, Magirna. I did a Cream Team live with Maddie, and like we used Psychium Z like Magirna on Toxapex, and it lived with 8%, and I mean, we ended up killing it later in the game, but it just its presence alone was just a pain,
Yeah, like it's just one of those things where something like Lando, where you have to preserve its health. Like you have to be like, okay, well, this guy has a Zygarde, a banded Zygarde, and he also has a Mega Medicham. So I have to make sure I keep Lando healthy so it can continually switch into Zygarde. So I probably shouldn't hard switch it into Medicham just in case he Ice Punch and then I don't have my Zygarde switching. Well, with Toxapex, it doesn't really matter, because even if you can't pressure Toxapex. Like people were like, oh, I'll run Ashgrin plus fucking what's some on that pressures Toxapex? Nothing like that. Like a fucking Ashgrin plus I don't know, like an Electrium Magirna or something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess.
And so you run the Ashgrin and you click Dark Pulse, and it doesn't do anything. Okay, and then let's say you flinch it. Well, fuck, switches out, comes back in, same health. You switch in Toxapex, they shift gear. They Electrium Z. You have you lose 65% of your health. You Scald.
This is sound like the story of my life. Huh? That's crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't it's not something that you need to like play safe with. It's super easy to just throw it in and out of the match without ever having to really. It's so hard to punish, but it's also very punishing in the sense that it can force you to waste your Z crystal on it.
Yeah.
To force you to break your Z crystal. It can knock off items now. It can Scald Burn shit on the switch. Like, even the stuff that you try to switch, like, it's not a passive piece of shit in the sense, because stuff like Bulu, which sets up on it, doesn't like switching into Scalds, and hell, don't want to get knocked off, if they're like AV or whatever. Stuff like Lele or Coco, they don't like being knocked off. Coco doesn't really like being burned.
Like, it's just Toxapex, like when it first came up, people were like, "Oh, this one's not gonna be that good." It's very passive.
It's just
that was so foolish. I never felt that was gonna be the case. When you have Scald as a move, I just never felt. I was like, no.
It's a lot like Lando in that it can kind of just be slapped on a lot of like builds. Well, it's still not something you can stop in every build. But the thing is like Lando can be slapped on builds without cost as well. But like I said earlier, Lando is a mon that you still have to play respectfully. Like you have to play it a certain way.
Yeah, which is the same.
You throw it in over and over and over again. And you have to preserve its health. You have to. It's just like one of these things. Like Toxapex can literally be depended on to check so many things, and never has to worry about being worn down. So if the guy has an Ashgrin, let's see, Ashgrin, Magirna, a Volcarona, a Diancie, like he has all of these things that can technically hurt Toxapex.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't matter because like. You can't pressure him on with Recover, Black Sludge, and Regenerator because all it has to do is, comes in, fuck, he has Earth Power, gets the fuck out of there, comes back in full health, Scalds, takes the Earth Power, switches out. Like, you don't even have to click Recover half the time. Like, it's Regenerator in general, like, the thing, at least another thing with Tangrowth is that it doesn't have reliable recovery outside of Regenerator. So, like, even if, well, I guess it has Synthesis or whatever, but you're not going to ever run that. So, like, something like Tangrowth is still easy to pressure because if hazards are up and, blah, 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 if it comes in and it's toxic and it took Spike and Rocks damage, it's going to be in range of other stuff. Whereas Toxapex, even if you switch in with hazards and all that, you can just recover. And then, like, yeah, like, you don't have to keep, like, playing the game where you just have to switch in and out to keep it healthy. It's like Slowbro, it's kind of like Slowbro, except Slowbro is extremely easy to take advantage of because it's got shitty Spadef, and its typing isn't so great for the metagame because it lets in stuff like Ashgrin and all that. But, like, Toxapex really doesn't let anything in for free, and it isn't easy to punish, and even if it knocks it, you knock it off, or there's hazards up, it's still so easy for it to get health back because of its retarded bulk, amazing typing, immunity to toxic. You know, it can absorb toxic spikes, can set up toxic spikes. It's such a dumb mod in the sense that it literally requires no skill to use, and it is not really punishable. So like, that's what I think is uncompetitive, where it's like, you can't really compare it to Doug Trio because Doug Trio was uncompetitive in a trapping sense, so you can't switch. But like, it's just one of those things where Doug Trio comes in, you're fucked. Like, oh, well, can't play around that. Whereas Toxapex, even if you predict the Toxapex to come in, it can just switch out. Like, even if you have extra sensory on Greninja, who cares? It just switches out. Like, it's like, oh fuck, and then gets out. Like, if it wasn't so bulky, and maybe if it didn't have recover, or it didn't have like knockoff or toxic spikes, like if it didn't have that retarded support move pool, and it was just an unkillable mon, then that's one thing. But the fact that it's practically unkillable, it requires a specific breaker to kill it, it can't be pressured, and it's not passive to a sense that it lets things in for free because of Scald, knockoff, toxic, blah blah blah. I just think it's very, very centralizing in its own way. Like, it just forces the metagame into like, well, fuck, you have to use something to beat Pex, but you're not even guaranteed to beat it. Like, it's you can't even, like, you cannot rely on things to beat Pex. Like, you run Lele, but if they have Pex, they probably have something else. Like, how I've seen people pivot Toxapex into like Lele's, take like a fucking Psyshock, like a non-spec Psyshock, or like a Scarf Psyshock, for example, and then they'll pivot into like T-Tars. Like, it's fucking retarded. Like, it can take like a non-specs Lele's hits and shit like that. It's just retarded. Like, so dumb. Sorry, I'm ranting, but like, that's just the way I think about it.
Yeah.
It's centralizing.
I hope you guys enjoyed. Gary's taking over my channel. And man's felt some type of way about this one, and you know, rightfully so. It's a mon that, honestly, you know, it's I would say the most like prep for mon to like lure. You know, you see things such as Volcarona with Psyche MZ, Protein Ninja with Extra Sentry Psyche MZ. You'll see Ground MZ, Heatran. You know, certain mons, like I feel like Bucephalon, like its best set is Specs just because it has a chance to break through Toxapex. You know.
Yeah, it can't break Toxapex without Specs or like Subcom Mind, you know, and even then, like Haze. So it's like, yeah, it's
I mean,
and it's not even. That's another thing. It's not even setup fodder for anything because it has Haze.
Yeah,
like, oh,
that's basically like, you know, it's been very nice for things such as Celesteela, mons like a Fable, you know, Pains like that, Charizard Y, etc. But yeah, no, I mean, it causes a lot of long matches. But you know, we're on here, you know, to talk about how amazing Toxapex is, etc. We're here to talk about what would it be without OU. So let's just delete Toxapex real quick. What would the metagame look like without Toxapex? Well, I think it would be a really healthy metagame, to be honest. But I do think with the Toxapex removal, there probably would be some bans. I do think there would be some bans. Gary, what's the first ban that comes to mind if Toxapex goes? I do think we immediately have to look at Greninja. Yeah, I think we have to look immediately. Both Greninjas.
Offensively, Magearna becomes pretty dumb. Like, I mean, it's already pretty crazy right now, but like, it's less pressured to run like T-Bolt. Like, obviously T-Bolt's nice for like Steela, but like, you'd see like Farium being even better. Like, just Farium T-Bolt. Like, you actually need like Electrium to properly break through Toxapex. Unless they obviously get paralyzed. You know, there's always that, or like paracrits and all that bullshit. But like, in the end of the day, Spadefpex can win versus non-Electrium Magearna that hasn't got +1 yet. Unless you're running like fucking Thunder or some fucking weird shit like that. Yeah, that would be dumb. I don't know about Protean Greninja because like Protean doesn't even really run extra sensory anyway right now. Like it can't even afford to. Like, it runs, like, spikes, 3 attacks, or dual spikes, or Scarf. Like, I don't know. I think Protean would be fine. I think there's a lot of things, like, in the tier that still keep it in check. But, yeah, Ashgren, that's definitely a big thing because like Toxapex can pretty much switch in for free on any non-battle bonds. Like if it's just regular Gren, full Spidef Pex is taking like 35. Like and even if you flinch it, like you probably have something else that can pivot into Dark Pulse, you know, because of that one flinch. You know, it's just Ferrothorn and all that shit. Yeah, Ashgren would definitely be S rank, I think, at the very least. Trying to think of something else. Scizor you might start seeing Scizor run like more offensive sets. Yeah, because otherwise, like, because yeah, there's Celesteela, but Celesteela would have to worry about like
Scizor is certainly Scizor like SD would be, you know, a viable thing again.
Yeah, because
not to say it isn't viable now, but you know, it definitely isn't as effective as it would be with the removal of Toxapex.
Yeah, and then obviously there's the obvious Volcarona. Like Volcarona would easily become.
Oh, that probably need to go. Yeah.
Because it doesn't have to. It doesn't even have to run Psychic anymore. So like you only run Psychic for Toxapex. So like if you don't run Psychic, then you could always run HP Ground, so you're never walled by Heatran. And then you can also run Bug Buzz. You can just run Fire Blast, Bug Buzz, HP Ground. And then you're never walled. You're not walled by T-Tar. You're not walled by Latios. You're not walled by Heatran. Well, okay then. Well, what fucking walls you now? Nothing. So, like, as soon as it sets up, it kind of just cleaves through balance on its own. Like, it would be like a balance breaker in a sense that it just destroys everything. You don't need to run a specific move and a Z move for one Pokemon. You can now run everything you could possibly want. So yeah, Volcarona would become insane for sure. I think that's easily the biggest thing to think about. Diancie could be better. Blacephalon obviously still has to worry about T-Tar, but it would probably be better in that sense. Megalopony, because that's something that can like pivot into returns and shit. Clefable, like Calm Mind Clefable. Kind of annoying. Like without stored power, it can't really do much to Pex. Yeah, it's just like Heatran doesn't have to run Groundium Z anymore. It can get away with running Lava Plume too. You don't really need to run Magma as much. It's still a good move, but like I'm kind of forced to run Magma to beat Pex in all honesty. And same with Groundium. It can run like Steelium, Firium more. Yeah. Yeah, the metagame, I think, in the end of the day, I would still think like even if one or two things becomes broken, I'd rather ban those things than keep Pex in the tier, in all honesty.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I do think, you know, Toxapex being removed, I bought a Palucha in the last video, but it's being used so much. It's like, god dang.
Yeah,
Halucha would be crazy. I think Keldeo could consider Keldeo again. One thing I very importantly feel that needs to be said: if Toxapex is removed, Rain is so disgusting. In Pacific, Ashgren Ninja Rain is so disgusting. I feel like that would be phenomenal. You would be if you don't want to get wrecked by Rain, probably you would have to, like, I guess have your best chance is like running, you know, a Mantine. But then again, Rain would, without having to worry about Toxapex, Rain can throw in some lures and, you know, measures.
I think you would. You know what I think would actually see a lot of usage? Finny would start seeing. Well, not a lot, but Feeny would start seeing more usage.
Feeny Calm Mind would be really good.
Because, like you said, look at the A ranks. What switches into Specs Keldeo? Like
yeah.
So like Specs Keldeo would become really good. And people would start running Finny. Obviously, Ashgren would become really good. So people would start running Finny for that. And, like, Volcarona can't beat it unless it runs Giga Drain. So, like, yeah, I think Finny would actually be pretty fucking good again. Because Pex kind of, and is a defensive mon, although Pex doesn't have Defog, but, like...
You know what would also be really good, bro? Manaphy with Z-move. Think about it.
That's true. Manaphy would definitely be better.
Yeah. You wouldn't have to be forced to run Psychic on.
You could run Icium after like Bulu, and you could run like fucking like Energy Ball or HP Fire. Like, yeah, it would be.
Yeah, you'd have some legit options. Yeah, for sure. Another thing to just randomly throw out there is, you know, the whole aspect of basically considering like everyone fan favorite like Mimikyu measure. That's gone. Mimikyu can go crazy. I tend to keep bringing up Mimikyu. If you don't know, it's the channel mascot, so I gotta bring up the GOAT.
Which is why I don't know. You bash Battle Spot singles, but that piece of shit is number
I didn't
one.
even bash.
It's like 65%.
I didn't even bash Battle Spot singles. I said, Gary, what are you talking about? Because you were hard Smogonite. You went from hard Smogonite to Battle Spot singles in a week. That just don't happen. So of course I was shook. I needed to ask some questions.
And Lando T are number 1 and number 2 in usage. So that's all you need.
I had to ask some questions.
You get some.
You know, funny thing is, I have a DS. It's just that I don't be having time. And if I was to play, that's the thing, man. Oh my god, if I would have to like get someone.
If you switch from Smogon stuff to fucking DS stuff, you would have enough time.
Yeah, I'd have time.
You would. Like what else? Because
I got too much clout, fam. I can't record. I can't record, bro. And if I could record it, but it'd just be really hard. I could probably pull off. I don't know. I don't know if the channel wants me to go crazy in the Battle Spot singles like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you built your sub based on Smogon stuff.
Yeah. So also, I was looking at Battle Spot single channels. They weren't lit. They weren't lit.
Well, yeah, because a lot of people who play it are like Japanese, and they fucking they're.
I gotta start learning Japanese. Damn, that's tough.
Yeah, I mean the best Battle Spot singles players are from the place that created the fucking game. So
yeah. Anyway, again, we're getting off sidetrack. But no, like, okay, so Cafable would be completely scary and phenomenal again. We already mentioned how Celesteela. Scarplacephalon would be respected. I mean, we already know about T-Tar, but not every single team can run T-Tar.
Specs Primarina.
Oh, Specs Primarina, that's another good one. Yes, Primarina could be used decently. I mean, it wouldn't be like, you know, game changing, but yeah. Another thing to think about is Charizard X. They wouldn't be forced to run E-Quake, which I feel they are forced to run E-Quake because of Toxapex.
Well, I mean, they still have to run it for like Heatran and T-Tar.
I mean, yeah, but those aren't.
It would still run E-Quake. I just think, but Pex is definitely one thing that.
Me personally, if I'm going to be using a Heatran, I'm probably like I would just run, you know, like T-Tar like Pursuit.
I mean, think about it. If you look at like common balance teams, you know, because like Roost 3 attack Zard X is pretty fucking scary.
Yeah.
If you look at common balance teams that without Pet, you remove Pex, it just gets they just get destroyed because Flare Blitz, Lando switches in Flare Blitz once and it's like practically dead. So like it's like, you know, it takes like 45%, you know, rocks and all that shit, and it's just like, yeah. So without Pex, I think Zard X would definitely be better in general. Like, obviously, Lando T still exists, but, like, Pex is definitely really annoying for it. Because it eats earthquakes and it's dumb.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video of us discussing basically orgasming, basically fantasizing about a metagame without Toxapex. Do let us know. What do you think a metagame would be out Toxapex? And do you want Toxapex to be suspected? Do you want a metagame without Toxapex?
Ooh, Mega Maul would be good too. No T-Punch. Did it have to run T-Punch?
I mean, I guess you could run Fire Fang for Celesteela. T-Punch is nice because, you know, it covers Heatran. I guess you wouldn't be like, you know, you wouldn't be forced to run it, you know.
Or Focus Punch.
Facts. Alright.
Yeah.
We out. Whole lot of gangish. Peace.